hear this and hear sense. Yeah. So I'm sure people have seen, some of the videos from the Danish deception, summaries, reviews, all that kind of stuff. And I can't help the story, from the bits and bobs, from what I'm seeing. I can't help. It just makes me think of the Tinder swindler, that the Netflix documentary that happened years ago. It makes me think of where we just hit general documentaries, scam stories, where you see people getting scammed all the time. And I think it just brings home the point that don't believe what you see. Don't believe what people present. Don't let someone take you for an Uber. Don't let someone take you for a ride. And I think it just says more about, how easy it is for humans to be deceived. In the Bible, it always says, I think it says, be weary of those that come in sheep's clothing, for inward they are ravishing wolves, or something along those lines. And it just makes me realize that I think a lot of people don't realize the scam. They don't realize human psychology. They don't know how people with addictions, people that are scammers, how easy it is for them to scam people, because you don't know, you're not aware about yourself. So one thing I've always thought of, is that, you see, if you want to scam somebody, if you want to borrow money from somebody, you present yourself as someone who's wealthy. You present yourself as someone that has money. Because if you present yourself as someone that has money, indirectly, it could be by what you wear, where you are, how you carry yourself, and just the straight up lies that you tell. When the time comes to ask for money, subconsciously, sometimes you kind of always, one part of you will say that because that person is wealthy, they're good for it. Because that person's rich, they're good for it. We've seen it on this very internet where you'll see people, you've seen people donating money to millionaires, to people that already got money, that are already famous. And they're like, oh, let's donate money to them. And you're like, people, you see weird stuff like that where because somebody appears to have money, sometimes it could be relationships, friendships, whatever. You inadvertently, you will allow them to ask for money maybe, and because they are good for it, or what you think you believe they're good for it, you'll be more likely to lend money. And then sometimes we have this thing where you have this weird thing where you feel like it's a test. Oh, the person's testing me, and if I pass this test, all the riches of life will be upon me, and I'll be a person that's not with this person for money, and all of that kind of stuff. And the reality is that's not true. Sometimes we just have to ask ourselves a question that makes sense. If somebody's got money and they're asking you for money, and you appear to be the person with less money in the situation, then something's wrong, something's not right. Do you know what I'm saying? So we always have to ask ourselves the question. The other thing is that we have to realize that people that scam you always test you. Like, one thing I notice whenever you hear these like love scam stories, is always a fast progression in feelings. Like, there's always this romantic movie level type of love. We met it, we hit it off, he took me to this nice place. Yeah, that's called setting the scam. That's called setting the play, setting the scene. He spent £500 on me randomly when we went out. He didn't even look at the check, he just spent it like that. That's called planting the seed. He's going to get that back with interest when he asks for a loan in 3 to 4 months, or he makes up a mad situation, a mad scenario, and you're going to be the only person that can help. It's a test. Doesn't make sense. Someone comes into your life, you've just met them 6 months, a year, whatever. They're already asking for money. Do they not have family? Do they not have loved ones? Do they not have like situations that make sense? Like, someone will come to you with this story. You ask yourself this question. I've just met you. I've known you for a year, maybe at most 6 months, whatever. You're asking me for money. Your family didn't give you nothing. Your friends didn't give you nothing. Maybe they did give you something and you've burnt those bridges, and now your credit with your closest friends and family is no good, and you're asking me. Sometimes we just have to call a spade a spade. Human beings lie. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And it's always, every story I hear like this, there's a test. There's something in the story where you go, that doesn't make sense. You've just met this person and they're asking for X, Y, Z. And at that point where it makes sense for you to say no, or simply, I don't have the money, You don't. The fact you've done that, that's the test. You're the Uber. You've now said, hey, I'm the Uber. Take me for a ride. And we have to be careful. Yes, it's good to care for people. Yes, situations can happen. But you always have to ask yourself the logical question as well. Like, why would like if you've met somebody 6 months, a year, maybe, would it even, why would somebody, you have to ask yourself, why would you feel comfortable to just ask somebody, like, start asking people for money, like out of nowhere? And it'll always be like a weird, mad situation. Oh, I need it for this, life thing or whatever. And you just have to ask yourself a question. Any responsible human being, we're all like, from when you're, let's say 28 plus, yeah? We're grown adults now. Everyone pays NI, national insurance. Everyone pays tax. Everyone goes to work. Everyone, like, you're an adult now. Your prefrontal cortex is almost fully developed. At 30 years old, it's fully developed or whatever. You've got a fully grown adult brain now that's functioning properly. Like, what are we doing here? You can't be coming with like random stories out of nowhere that, oh my gosh, I need these grands and grands and grands and grands. It doesn't make sense. And we need to, I know people want to be there for people. People want to be a support network, but you have to ask yourself these questions. Sometimes it's too soon. And it doesn't make sense. You ask yourself, what responsible person is asking for money early in a relationship? It doesn't make sense. And I remember like with the Tinder swindler thing, when I was watching it, and you were just seeing he spent this money on them to the point now where they felt indebted to him emotionally. So now when he's asking them for something, the one time he's asking for the big one, and he's saying people after me and all this, now we're seeing people going into credit card and all this kind of stuff. And that leads me on to my next point, is that you see the way that people get taken for a ride? They get taken for a ride because of, you need to have your own personal morals, your own personal process, your own line when it comes to lending money to friends and family. So what do I mean by that? Me, if I'm lending money to friends and family, there's an amount I know in my mind that this is kind of the region that at my current financial level, my financial situation, this is what I can afford, that if I don't get it back, I can be fine with. Like it might be 500 quid. It might be £500. That might be my limit of, if there was a mad situation, what could I give that's not going to mash up my life and what I've got going on and put me in a mad financial situation? It might be that amount. Whatever amount it is that makes financial sense for you, you need to know that amount. You need to know what that amount is. So, because you always hear stories of people dipping into savings or taking out investments and stuff, like money that was going to be used for their future, that really, if you lose this, you've set yourself back like years, yeah? And then you put that money up and they don't get it back. And now the relationship is sour. You find out you get scammed, or even worse, you find out the person's got a gambling addiction or whatnot. And that's it. The money's gone. You have to know what that amount is. And it shouldn't be a mad amount. It shouldn't be like all your life savings, or, do you know what I'm saying? You should know what that amount is. So if it's £200, and £200 is the limit, £50, 100, whatever it is, this is the limit that with my financial situation, I could lend someone this money. If, let's say I don't get it back, I'm not going to be sour about it because it's not breaking my back. Then you should know that. So that when situations like this come and someone comes to you with a big amount, 2 grand, 1 grand, oh, can you take out 15? This mad thing has happened. You'll be like, sorry, I don't have it. And they could be angry or whatever, but end of the day, you have to care for yourself. You have to protect against scam situations. You have to protect against a mad financial situation that, realistically speaking, if it goes sour, you are the one in problem. No one else will come. If you put up this money and this person goes off and doesn't come back and you don't get the money, that's you. You're the one left with egg on your face. And people will be saying, why did you do it? So I think that's one of the biggest things we have to be careful. Have your financial line of what is what you can lend people, what you can't. And you know what that is, especially with friends, especially with family. You know what that amount is, and you know the situation. If it's like of course, there could be situations like life or death situations or mad situations that come out, and you have to be okay if it's your family. Like I'm talking family where it's a mad situation where no one could have foreseen it coming, and the money's got to come. You have to know in your mind in those situations, you know what, this is the line. This, all right, you know what? Usually I'm being financially savvy, but for this situation, I've just come to terms with this money. It's got to go for whatever it is, and this person may never be able to pay me back. But it's a life or death situation. It's a situation of it's come completely left field, and it's for a family member that you know that if they could not be in that situation, they would. Then that's fine. But you can't be doing that for people you just meeting, you know, for a year, less than a year, couple years, and you don't know if their financial, you don't know if their credit, their social credit with people is good. Like, it's mad. It's mad. And I just see it all the time. I'm probably gonna do like a proper video about it. Like, but I just think let's have our line. Let's have our financial line. Let's know what we can lend out or we can't lend out. And let's ask the question that makes sense. 9 times out of 10, if you're meeting somebody within 3-4 months, get a woman or a man is telling you, oh my gosh, this situation's come up, and they're telling you about the problem. Alarm bells have to ring. Up your ear, alarm bell is ringing. You know why? Because you have to go and screen it and go, I've met this person, I'm not this person, less than 6 months, 8 months, whatever. They're already telling me their financial problem, this financial scenario. I don't know if it's real or not. You have to ask, they have a mom, they have a dad, they have siblings, they have friends that if it was mad, they could get to. And the situation itself always doesn't make sense. Oh, this thing it's just always a long, drawn out story that realistically, you just have to ask yourself and say, I don't know this person from nowhere. Why would you even, do you know what I'm saying? It's like if I came and spoke to someone, hey, what's good? You all right? Yeah, can I borrow a $5? You'd be like, no, what's going on? No. And this is why I go back to your eyes, the human eyes, the presentation of the scam. You know, I was reading a book, 48 Laws of Power. And I think there's lots of stories in there about how like scam artists really move and stuff. And the biggest thing is misdirection. So that's why if you want to borrow money, you come as rich, you present as rich, you say you're rich, you do things that to some people, it looks, oh my gosh, yeah, this person's got money. Because let's put it another way, if somebody pulled up in a Lamborghini, let's say you were in London, someone pulled up in a Lamborghini, got out of the car, had a Rolex watch on, they bumped into you, they're about to pay, I don't know, let's say they were about to pay for something on their on contactless. They're about to pay for parking for their car. Let's say they go to do the parking for their car, they tap the thing. Oh my gosh, I forgot my card. Hey mate, can you lend me a $5? Look, I'm good for it, I'll give it back. For some people, because you've seen the car, you've seen them, maybe the Rolex, they present rich, you're more likely you're going to be like, rah, this person's good for it. Subconsciously, for some of us, we might look at that and go, that person's good for it. And you might see it as, oh, this could be the start of, if I do this, I can get a relationship with this person that's richer than me, and then I could become rich. That thing goes off in, your head as well. And it's subconscious at times. But the same situation, somebody could come to you like tattered clothes, holes in their clothes, and just said, oh mate, can I have a $5 for my car? You don't see the car, you don't see nothing. You're more likely to be like, nah, it was all right. You're more likely to see it as a cash loss. And that is why I say these situations, we have to actually analyze the subconscious of it. And we have to analyze and realize that what you see is not always what it is. There are some people that they're wealthy, they were very simple. There's some people that you think they've got it, they might not have it. There's some people that you think they've got it, and they've got it more than what it even seems. So let us just ask ourselves the question and be logical, so that people don't scam us and our pocket is fine and we don't get taken for a ride.